Right, so this video we're going to look at assigning a student a task. So they are called assignments. They can be summative or formative. You're just literally assigning a student a task. So if I click on classwork, if I check on people, because now I've got my demo student, I'll show you what you can do in this area in the next video. But if I go to classwork, what we're going to do is create a task, an assignment. Now, as I say, what an assignment is, you can think about this as giving out a worksheet in class, or a full 2-week long assignment. It doesn't really matter what the assignment is. Effectively, we are just assigning students something to do. So let's call this demo worksheet. Again, the instructions are whatever you want, really. A lot of the time I might be a little bit more descriptive than this, but because it's a demo video, I'm not going to do that. Apologies for the split screen. I'm just doing this again to reiterate, this is the teacher view, this is the student view. I'm going to change this to ungraded. Oh, I don't like that actually, I'm going to make it full screen. Change this to ungraded, I don't know why it's happening down there. I think it's the resolution of the screen. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Due date, self-explanatory. Topic, kind of self-explanatory at this point, but let's call it lesson 1. And here, this is a brand new feature, originality reports. So you can enable originality, easy for me to say, originality reports on 3 assignments per class. So I think after that might be a bit of a paywall. So if you're worried about plagiarism, you can add this originality report. I'm going to leave it off for now. Rubrics are again also a new rubric, a new feature. So you can create a rubric to help you grade, reuse one that you've already created, or import from sheets. I'll look at this in a future video. I'm going to leave that for now. What we're going to do here is normally I would add a Google Docs, something that I've already created, as I say, a worksheet. Now if you've got a lot of worksheets that you've created in Microsoft Word, I'll do another video about how you can go and convert worksheets or documents from Word to Google Docs. It's very, very easy. But we're going to press create, and this is a new feature again, and it was one that was lacking, but now it's definitely here. I'm happy about it. I'm thinking actually I'm going to create a demo worksheet here in Google Classroom. So it's going to create a Google document. Let's open the document. I'm going to call it demo, thanks Grammarly, demo 1. So this is where you can make it look as pretty as you like, or any images or whatever you want to put in there. But I'm going to just create some questions just for the purpose of this. So it could be, what is the sort of, what else should I ask? How many legs does a dog have? My students normally pull me up on questions as well, so obviously the answer to that one would be 4, but then they'd be pedantic and they'd be right, and it really creates that dialogue. I wouldn't normally be asking about dogs, to be fair. 2 plus 2 equals. Now what I would normally do is leave space beneath so that it's clear where you want the students to answer. It's obviously, I'm not teaching how to suck eggs here, and that's that done. So I can just cross that off, and that document is there. It says untitled document. If I just double check that, yeah, if I refresh the page, that would change its name. Don't worry about that. So this is probably my favourite feature of Google Classroom. It's the foundations of what I do on a daily basis. Students can view this file, which means I've added it almost as a material. They can't do anything with it apart from read it. So if maybe it was a long piece of text that you want them to read, but I very, very rarely use that option. Students can edit the file. I hardly ever use this one, because that would actually mean every student you allocate the task to can literally edit that document, so they could change the questions and move things around. However, you can be smart about it. You could create a blank document and say, a lot of the times if you want them to do a research task or a presentation task, you can create the document, and that all this, maybe you might allocate it to 2, 3, 4 students. They can edit your original file. Again, you've got to be savvy on how you do that, be careful. But typically what I would say is make a copy for each student. And what make a copy for each student does is literally what it says on the tin. It's effectively a digital way of photocopying and distributing the same worksheet to everybody. I know that might not sound great in terms of differentiation, but we can also, if you're doing it in groups, you can actually select which students you're going to give this worksheet to. So you might have, this might be a lower level worksheet or lower level set of questions or whatever it might be, and you can quite easily pick which students from a list you want access to this worksheet. I'm going to leave it ungraded. I'm not going to give it a percentage score. No due date, as I said, it's lesson 1. I'm not going to use a rubric. I'm not going to use an originality report for this document. It's only, you've seen the standard of the questions. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to assign. I could save it, I could schedule it, I could post it, but I'm going to assign it. And when I assign this document, it's now assigned, so it appears in lesson 1. If I go to classwork, you can see that straight away that worksheet is there and it's live. It's you can see the colours there, you can see the students need to do it. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just edit this document, and I'm going to add a deadline due date. Let's say the due date's tomorrow on a Saturday. So there's no reason why they can't work over the weekend, the students. Let's say at 11:50 midnight, just before midnight, and save that. If I go back to, as a student view, if I go back to the home page, full screen that, you can see there that the actual deadline is due. You can see what the worksheet is, and you can either, there's multiple ways you can access it. Upcoming events here, the deadline is there, and click on it and it takes me to the worksheet. I'll do this demo in a second. I could go to the stream and it's there. I can go to classwork. I almost always recommend the students to go to classwork and look at it that way, but it's entirely up to you how you do that. What I'm actually going to do is come out of Google, the actual classroom for a second, and go back to classroom. And you can see actually this home page, you can also see that the worksheet, it's due Saturday. So if you have multiple lessons or subjects, or the students have multiple, you can see when it's due. That all syncs as well. I think my phone's just vibrating in my pocket to tell me that there's a deadline. It automatically adds it to your calendar. So on your work phone or your personal phone, if you've got it turned on, this feature turned on, you can see when students have handed things in. It's so slick, it's incredible. So anyway, if I go back to the demo worksheet and I open it, because I've as a teacher shared this worksheet with my students, I understand that, with my students, they can literally start answering the questions in here. Now if I go back to split screen, I'm going to show you before I split screen, I'm going to show you the teacher view. And if I go to demo worksheet, I can see that one person has been assigned it, but they've yet to hand it in. I can click on that and I can get a bigger breakdown. So this would be a list of your students. 0 turned it in. There's no students to see. 1 student assigned it. We can see that that's our demo student, and I can click on that demo student, and this is the view you get, the marking view. So I can, well, you can see right now live, this is where my demo student is currently working. You can see, so literally as you can see, this is a new feature again, a spell check baked in. So if I delete that, you can see on the teacher view here, that's deleted. So literally in real time. So as a teacher, I might want to put a comment. I could comment and say, it's getting a bit messy, I understand that for demonstration. By default, the teacher is in comment view, so I could say delete that. So I can literally type on my keyboard what I want the student to do, and it appears as a comment. So you don't have to say to the student as a comment. You can edit their work, you could say type in, the right answer is London. So I've typed in London, that's a comment. So here it says replace hello with London. Obviously that'd be cheating, but you can see that you don't actually have to edit the work, you can just type it as if you were doing it. Or for your comments, that's in comment view. Let's see, I want to get rid of those, I can just get rid of them. It's all time stamped, it's all there. What I'm going to do is go to edit, and now actually if I'm in the edit mode I can actually delete what the students wrote. But this is in real time, guys, this is what's so exciting about it. Literally in real time. So you can be sat at your desk, you could be in a different country, it doesn't matter, you can see what the students are doing as they are doing it. Now both teacher and students can put private comments, so that's a bit of a dialogue between the two parties. You've got down here as well, you've got a comment bank, and you can see that I've got a few comments in there, my comment bank. So if I started, let's say I said want to do spag, so I'm in the teacher, I'm in my account here, so let's say I want to put a comment about spag, so comment, and as soon as I start typing, you can see that my spag comment comes up, different spag comments. So it's so slick, it's incredible. So from the student view, once they are happy and they've put in what they need to put in, so let's say the capital of England is London. Very clever. 4 and 4. As you're seeing, the teacher can look at it in real time anyway, but once the student's happy with their answers or meets the deadline, if they press this button, that is literally the action of giving the teacher the worksheet, literally handing it over. And you know, if you hand over a worksheet to a teacher, that if you're a student, you hand a worksheet into a teacher, you can no longer edit that worksheet, and that's the same here. So once they've handed that work in, you can see it as a teacher, they can see it as a student even, but they can't do anything to it. If they realise they've made a mistake, they can ask the teacher to, can you give me that work back, which is a case of returning it. Let's, if I go to the teacher view, so now it's got turned in, demo student, you can return it, and then that means you could give edit rights on there, or the student can click on their work, or in fact they don't need to click on it, they can press unsubmit, and that would be them taking the work back from you. Now if there are deadlines and they, after the deadline, they realise they made a mistake and they unsubmit it and then submit it again, Google will show you that actually it's been submitted, it's been unsubmitted, it's been submitted again after the deadline. What is also an incredible feature, because it is in the cloud, what you can do is, because this is I can request edit access, I'll go to the teacher view because I've handed that in. You can also do this, so if I open up the full actual document, you can do that by clicking on this, it'll launch it in Google Docs as opposed to that marking view window. If I go to file and I go to version history and I can go see version history, you can see who was doing what and when, so you can restore previous versions and you can see what was done at what time, so you can name the version or you can make a copy. So this is really good for cutting down on cheating, and there's no, I did my work at midnight last night, my computer crashed and I lost it. That doesn't happen because everything's recorded in the cloud. I've never ever had a student give me an excuse. Now, because they know the parameters and what they're working with, they'll just be honest and say, look, I haven't done it. And I appreciate that honesty. I wish they did do the work, but this is creating an environment where it makes it impossible for them not to do the work without just justifying they haven't done the work.